Grant fucking Holmes. I'm gonna jump off a bridge, Chris.
Hit it.
Welcome to the Coach's Sons podcast. My name is Andrew.
And I'm Chris.
And that's a live reaction intro to what's happening right now. So backstory, guys, it is Monday afternoon. It is elimination day for the Braves and the Mets, and technically also the D-backs. Game one's over. The Mets beat the Braves. I am not panicked at all because Cy Young, probable winner, Chris Sale is going to pitch game 2 of the elimination game. And then, freaking here.
Yeah, we got Greasy Grant on the mound. Greasy Grant Holmes. He's going to take you to the promised land. You're going to have to send him something when he gets you one, because you were calling him greasy and shit.
I had a lot of bad words to say about him. Anyways, fingers crossed things work out. But okay, so everyone just know, that's what's happening right now. We're going to still talk about the AL first. Then we're going to get into the NL. There are probably going to be some live reactions out of me, but I'm going to try to be as professional as possible. But before we dig into everything, for those of you who don't know, Chris and I are both located in Greenville, South Carolina. Now, we got hit pretty hard by Hurricane Helene. We are lucky to have power where we're at now. Chris, your home still doesn't have power.
Correct. As of today, as of 1 o'clock today, I did not have power, subject to change. But everything else is fine. Couple trees down, fence damaged, but that's small potatoes compared to what's going on kind of even in this area, but even more so in North Carolina, Western North Carolina. We're talking the Asheville area.
Yeah.
Devastating.
Yeah.
Devastating. Unexpected.
Biltmore Village is underwater. Chimney Rock, the town essentially is gone. Like, it is a heartbreaking thing to see. We are up in the foothills of the mountains and we're not prepared for hurricanes, and it sucks. A lot of really great people have lost a lot of things. And so if you have the ability to help, whether it's through United Way, if you're in the area just helping a neighbor get some trees, some branches picked up, please lend a helping hand. It's a tough world out there, and when something like this happens, it makes it even more difficult. So just want to make sure that's acknowledged, because it impacts us, our friends, our family, and so many more that are out there. And so thoughts and prayers are with everyone, of course, but let's do more than that. Let's act, and let's help a neighbor out. And please, I've seen this posted 1,000 times. If the red light is out, the traffic light's out, it's a 4-way stop. So stop at that traffic light, because there have been way too many accidents and people getting hurt, even killed. So let's be respectful of others on the road and just in general. So, all right, the Braves have not started yet.
They have started. They have started. Okay, the Braves have started, so we're off. I'm going to try to ignore this. Chris, let's talk about the AL. What you got for me? Let's change the subject. The postseason's here,
It's here, baby.
AL, not quite what we expected when this season started. So, top to bottom, New York Yankees, 1 seed.
Yep.
Cleveland Guardians, 2 seed. 3 seed Houston Astros, division winner, AL West. 4, Orioles. 5, those goddamn Kansas City Royals.
Wow.
And 6, the Detroit Tigers.
The Tigers, man.
From nowhere.
Out of left field, just coming in there.
So with those 6 being named, it's officially official that the Seattle Mariners are not in.
Yep.
In typical fashion, they finished 1 game out of the playoffs.
Oof.
Whatever, everybody called the dogs off, so they won their last couple games. But within striking distance, as always, that's just how they operate.
Yeah, you guys were eliminated, early last week or something like that?
It was a long shot.
Yeah.
There was a point where they needed to win like 4 or 5 games, and they needed the Royals to lose like 4
the
out of
same
5.
amount. Yeah.
So I tuned out. I tried to watch a little, but I tuned out for the most part.
It's tough.
So luckily, you will not be inundated with Mariners talk. There will be plenty of off-season conversation for that.
Exactly.
But they are not in the playoffs. And just as much as, you could say the Mariners choked or they had, whatever, they had opportunities, The Detroit Tigers were dead in the water as of beginning of August, middle of August.
When we did our episode where we started saying, okay, dead, we said the Tigers were dead.
The Tigers off because they were probably 7 games out of behind 3 or 4 teams, right? And they turned it on. I don't have actual statistics to back up what their record was, but they were among the best teams in baseball down the stretch.
Yeah.
They just did not lose.
I mean, Skubal still pitching like a freaking maniac.
That's a win every 5 days.
Absolutely.
Right? The way he was throwing. But they got it done. And that bullpen is a major, major reason why. Mm-hmm. And, you just gave me a look of their bullpen. It's like, yeah, I can name like 2 or 3 guys in it. And they weren't, we lost Andrew. He's about to have a sneeze fest. Bless you, good sir. But that bullpen really did what they needed them to do. Foley on the back end.
Yep.
I'm going to butcher some of these names.
Yeah, don't.
But I'm not even going to go there. But they've had 3 or 4 guys that are among the best relievers in baseball.
Yep.
And their young guys have shown up. Kerry Carpenter played well. Riley Green had his breakout season. He's still young.
Yeah, really good player.
Javi Baez hasn't played, so that probably adds an extra spark. That's
Definitely
probably 2 or 3 wins just for him not playing, right? Torkelson came back, and he's been a contributor.
Been better.
They've just, it's a weird team. It's one of those teams they're reminiscent of Tampa Bay Rays. Right, you look at that lineup and you're like, "This team sucks." You're like, I am not worried.
I see what
I'm
you
not
mean.
worried about this team whatsoever. But they're gonna string a couple hits together. Riley Green will go deep. Torkelson will run into one, and all of a sudden you're down 4-1.
Yeah,
and then that bullpen comes in, and you're like,
you the fuck down.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So sneaking in as 6th seed, they're well worth it. And the reason I have to hype them up is because they're now playing the Astros. So as much as I dislike or don't care for the Tigers, I despise the Astros.
And here's the deal, man. Like, they can win that series.
They can. I don't see it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, you throw Skubal in any, like, the fact that it's a 3-game series, like, you have an advantage. So you're going to win that game.
Not necessarily. I mean, it's him and Framber. Framber's been there.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a matchup.
That's a great
tune
matchup.
it. Yeah. And I don't.
The pitch. Just so everyone knows, the pitching matchups have not been made official.
Most game ones, but not everybody. Yeah. So that is your. Go figure. That is your 2:30 game on tomorrow. Today. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is going to come out Tuesday.
Yes,
so
it is.
This afternoon,
okay,
at 2:30 on ABC is Framber Valdez first Tariq Skubal.
Why are they showing games at 2?
2:30, 4 o'clock, 5:30, 8:30.
No one's going to watch 2:30. That's so stupid. Anyways, sorry, I digress.
It's on ABC, so maybe they get more.
Whatever.
More people.
I think it's dumb. But it's very dumb. Okay,
for a series that in middle of September, like. That wouldn't even be called out as a series, right? You're like, no, but unless Skubal and Framber were facing off against each other, you're not like, oh, Astros, Tigers, like, let's tune in. But this is our round 1 matchup in the wild card. I'm pretty sure Yordan Alvarez is healthy. I think he missed some time down the stretch, but it didn't really matter because they were just kind of locked into the 3 seed and whatever. But that lineup is experienced. They're talented. They're pretty goddamn deep. Altuve, Bregman, Kyle Tucker, who's back, Yordan Alvarez. They'll go. What's his name? I think John Singleton. We won't go crazy with him. Jeremy Pena. Like, they've got guys that they can make it happen. They have Hader at the back of that bullpen.
Yeah.
Presley is in that bullpen. Who the hell else? I think they brought back Hector Neris. We don't talk about him anymore. We don't really care. But Brian Abreu in that bullpen. So. I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair, but I do think the long ball is going to prove costly, and I expect your usual suspects for the Astros to show up. Your Yordan Alvarez, your Kyle Tucker, your Jose Altuve, and Bregman, who is now going to be playing for a free agent contract, right? He's a free agent at the end of the year. So he shows up, shows out. He'll get a big deal because Houston probably won't pay him.
So
with that said, go ahead.
Who do you? So you're going to say Astros in 2?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, they could steal game 1, and then it's all on its head. It's all systems to go.
I genuinely think it's 2-1. I mean, I think the Astros win.
Okay.
But right now, this is my upset alert. Like the game I'm looking at the most is I think the Tigers could, because the Tigers are hot. That's the thing. When it comes to postseason baseball, it's not the team with the best record. As a Braves fan, I am very aware of this. It's the hottest team.
Sure.
That's why the Phillies have been a problem the last 2 years. It's why the Braves won the World Series 3 years ago. Like, it's because we were hot at the right time. And so I genuinely think that the Tigers, if they continue to stay hot, could be the team to have an upset. So I'm going to say Stros 2-1. But that, I don't know. I would not be surprised if the Tigers take it.
I've got 2-0 Houston. I think they're just experienced enough. And to your point, like, yes, hotness matters, but experience matters too.
I mean, I don't disagree.
Every at-bat becomes important, right? Mm-hmm. Over your 162-game season, you're going to have 500-plus at-bats, right? That one at-bat in the first inning of your game in May doesn't mean shit in the grand scheme of things, right?
Right.
Big picture. But guess what? You getting on base in the first inning off Framber Valdez changes everything. Now, you have a 9-pitch at bat against Framber to start the game. That changes everything, right? Like, those types of things matter. You get thrown out trying to steal, that's a big deal, right? Like, every out matters. Every pitch matters. If you could run Framber's pitch count up or vice versa, they can run Skubal's pitch count up. You change environments, you change games, you change the way the manager manages a game, right? Oh, I didn't want to go to my bullpen, but Skubal's getting a little, higher in the count. When he gets higher in his pitch count, he doesn't do. I'm making that up. I have no idea if he's as effective. That you would just assume he's not. But again, that goes the other way too. If you could put together strong at bats, get people runners in scoring position, put pressure on the other pitcher, and have success in those particular situations. I've seen Yordan Alvarez. He'd ruined my life a couple years ago. Like, I get it, right? Like, so that's why I have to take the Astros. I'm going in 2 because I don't know who else the Tigers are going to come out there with. Yeah. And I just don't trust it.
No, I mean, that's fair.
The key is winning game 1.
Game one's important for sure. And by the way, the Tigers looks like they've won 15 in the last 20.
Yeah.
So they're definitely hot as hell. So, I mean, good on the Tigers for sneaking in there. But I do think it's I think it's the Astros, but they could make it interesting if they take game 1. I mean, with any of these,
your pick is 2-1 Astros.
2-1 Astros. Okay. Yeah, I think 2-1 Astros.
We both have Astros moving forward. Sounds good. Next series, very interesting. Very interesting is the Baltimore Orioles. Everybody's preseason pick, right? Everybody's
it was
favorite.
Ours. Yeah, ours. Yep.
And the goddamn Kansas City Royals.
Here's the deal, Chris.
They're good.
This is the team we've been the wrongest about, and they're good.
You know what? We mentioned this. At least I remember mentioning it at the very beginning of the season.
What's that?
Do you know who's on the Royals? Do you remember who's on the Royals?
Who's on the Royals?
He's won the World Series like the last 2 or 3 seasons. He's been on 2 or 3 different teams.
Holy shit.
He's back, baby.
Oh, wait, who was it? I do remember talking about it. You're like, his 3-peat's done. I forget.
He's a Brave. He's a lefty.
Lefty pitcher?
Yeah. Reliever. I won't let this go on too long.
Oh, Will Smith.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Will
shit.
Smith.
I got there. Okay,
Will Smith is a Kansas City Royal. And all he does is collect World Series rings.
Win, baby.
That's all he does. He's clearly inevitable.
Yeah.
Interesting series. So so game 1, another top flight pitching matchup. Cole Reagans
and Burns
and Corbin Burns. They are. Sorry, I know we read out all the times, but I didn't say who was playing who. They are the 4:00 game, ESPN 2, today at 4:00. Games are in Baltimore. Baltimore is the home team. The Royals actually had, this is via MLB, they have Seth Lugo set up to go game 2 and Michael Wacha game 3. I do not know what the Orioles are doing. The last I saw was that I saw RDT post something about the manager was like, we'll see what happens after game 1. It's like, yeah, we probably shouldn't be doing that. We should have a plan. But apparently they're going to be
fluid.
That's the word. That's the word. I couldn't think of the word. I was making hand gestures.
A lot of rude hand gestures over here.
Not suitable for TV, apparently. But what a game one, right?
Yeah.
Two, albeit the Orioles had crazy expectations, and down the stretch, they did not live up to those expectations. They have not been good. Adley Rutschman has not been very good. Gunner's been kind of him and ha. Santander's been hitting home runs, sure, and they've been not really I think Mountcastle came back towards the end of the season, so he's trying to get back into things. They just haven't been really clicking. But at the same time, the Royals fell apart too because the Mariners almost caught the Royals.
Yes,
as well. So two teams just kind of limping in. They got in, and that's all you have to do, right? You need a chip in a chair. You're in the playoffs, and now it's go time, right? Nobody gives a shit. Nobody will give a shit how September looked for either of these teams if they go on a mini run here.
No, I completely agree with that. And here's the deal. It's man, the Royals, it's hard to bet against them after betting against them all season because of that 1-2 punch of Reagans and Lugo.
Lugo's been good.
They've both been very good. Like Cy Young conversation at some point throughout the year for sure. So I'm definitely I want to lean Royals 2-1. However, I'm not gonna, because fuck the Royals. So we're gonna go 2-0 Orioles.
2-0.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the deal. I think the Orioles, they've played better the past 2 weeks. I think yes. I don't think they're gonna make a deep run like I did at the beginning of the season. But I just that team is just. It's just a better baseball team from top to bottom, and it's tough to bet against better baseball teams. And like I said with the Tigers, they were hot. The Royals are not hot at all.
They were the epitome.
They're the Braves last year, where we just limp into the playoffs and then we just get dog walked in the series opener. So I'm going to say 2-0 Orioles taking that series. I'm going for it.
I'm going to give the Royals a little bit more credit at this particular point. But I'm gonna go 2-1 Orioles.
Okay.
I think the Orioles. Let's start here. The Orioles have to win Game 1. Corbin Burns has to win.
Oh, yes, but I mean, I feel that way about almost any of these series. If you don't win Game 1, you are back against the wall. Because the series are just too short, man. Like you have to saying you have to win Game 1 is kind of
I guess I just don't trust Dean Creamer, I don't trust Dean Creamer to go get me that. I guess I say 2-1.
It's gonna be Grayson probably, right?
I don't think he's good to go. I think he's out.
You don't?
I'm pretty sure he's done for the year, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't
Unless
realize
they
that.
go on a deep run, maybe he could come back then. But he is not. So
I thought Eflin was the one who was hurt.
No.
Oh well, crap! I'm not. Or anyways,
potentially
whatever.
Grayson is not ready. Let's put it that way. So I don't trust
Suarez. I don't know who their day two.
They've got that's what I'm saying. It's to be determined. If I could be,
I'm not backing down.
I could be way off if Eflin is indeed hurt, but I don't think he is.
Okay.
So I guess he could be your 2. Let's see. I'm trying to look it up as I'm talking, and we know how that always goes, right? But anyway, if Eflin is your 2, then I feel a little better about it. But again, you get to that Game 3, it's Creamer, it's the guy you had mentioned, Suarez. I don't know. I don't know how I feel.
It's a bullpen game
about it,
Yeah.
And that's what's scary. So I'm going to back up a little bit. I still go 2-1. When we talk legitimate, every at bat matters, everything's a big deal. The Royals run through Bobby Witt Jr. Right?
That's the thing. Who else is going to get it done on that team?
Well, here's where I'm going.
Okay,
with this.
paint the picture, Chris.
With a lot of other teams, you can Yankees, for example. You could walk Judge. Judge isn't really a threat. He might steal a bag here or there, but you're not going to run him in the postseason. Right? Soto, kind of the same thing. He'll steal one craftily, but nothing crazy. If Bobby Witt Jr. is on first base, he is a threat to be on third.
Yes, right.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can't pitch around Bobby Witt Jr. He hits 340. So he gets on base via hit. I don't know his complete on base percentage. I'm not looking at it, but the guy gets on base, and when he does, he will take second base. He will be on second. He might take third on you, and now you're in trouble, right? And now they don't even have to produce a hit. If Bobby Witt walks, steals second, steals third, a ground out to second base, scores Witt Jr., even if they're playing in.
Yeah. OPS right? Is what you're wondering?
On base.
On base?
450 is my guess.
389.
That's it? You don't walk very much.
No, yeah. His OPS is 970, but his OBP is like 389.
That's not good. What's his batting average? 330?
332.
Ooh, he don't walk very much.
Slugging, 588.
I take back the whole walking thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he gets on base via the hit a lot. I get it. But
yeah, lots of hits.
And he had a great season. Bobby Witt Jr.
Oh, great season for sure.
Minus Aaron Judge existing, Bobby Witt Jr. is probably your MVP.
Completely agree. Yeah, completely agree.
But I don't trust the rest of the lineup.
Bobby Witt. All right, team leaders, batting average, Bobby Witt Jr. Home runs, Bobby Witt Jr. RBIs, Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah.
OBP. Bobby Witt Jr. Hits, obviously, Bobby. The fact that he leads all of the major stats on that team.
Well, he should.
Come on, man.
I mean, he leads. Yeah, he leads all the most major stats in the league. What do you mean? Of course, he's going to lead them on the team.
I'm just saying, like, no one else is close, man. I just don't. I don't believe in the Royals. That's just what it is. It is what it is.
That's what you came down to.
I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue to lean on not trusting the Royals.
Doesn't do like they brought in Yuli Gurriel. Talk about playoff experience. Former Astros great.
Right.
Yuli Gurriel.
Ooh, you got there. You got there.
We get there eventually. I'm trying to look at like their lineup. Like again, Salvador Perez, sure. Hunter Renfroe, Michael Garcia.
I mean,
Tommy Pham.
Salvador Perez is the only other.
Like who? I guess that's the big picture of a. They scare me. Well. They obviously have the star. They have the guy. And then I guess Salvador Perez might be a home run from Jorge Soler. Not sure.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
Okay. At least a double, maybe a home run. We'll find out shortly. But anyway,
I hate that brick wall out in the right field because you can't tell.
Well, there's the line, and I don't know where the line is.
It's so dumb. It's bad. It's bad.
But he got into that one, so good on him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, I think the Royals lineup, it's low. The Royals lineup is actually way worse than the Tigers, like piece by piece.
Correct.
Like when I was
that's fair.
about the
that's
Tigers.
Fair. Yeah.
But I guess Bobby Witt can make something happen. But those Orioles, I think they're starting to get healthy, right? Westberg's back. Mountcastle's back. O'Hearn could make some plays. You have Santander, who hit over 40 home runs this year. Adley knows he's got to step up. You've got Gunnar, who knows he has to step up. I don't know if Jackson Holliday is going to play a big part, like if he's going to actually get starts. I think Westberg's back, and I think he's kind of gone by. I
mean, he's depth. I don't think he's a factor, but he's definitely.
He'll have something. He'll do something.
He'll do something for sure. I mean, the kid's talented. He's going to be there, but I don't think he's going to be a big, like you said, a big factor. So look, the Orioles lineup is better, top to bottom, better. That team's going to win. So.
Their bullpen isn't too hot, though.
Yeah. Pitching wins championships. Again.
And the Royals' bullpen is pretty good. Ursus is pretty solid.
Yeah, Will Smith, man. He's there.
Will Smith is just knows how to pitch the postseason.
Dude knows how to do it. I don't know. Well, like I said, I'm not going to back down.
So those are our picks. We both have Orioles. We both have Houston. So we're going chalk. Of course, we're going to be wrong on one of these things. I
completely agree.
But just as a precursor, we are the plan as of right now is to preview each round of the playoffs. Right. So in looking it up, the wild card round ends on Thursday.
Yep.
I don't believe we talked about this off mic, but I don't believe MLB is subject to be moving things up.
No, they have to travel.
Assuming they do not, according to MLB.com, Saturday, October 5th is the ALDS, the beginning of the ALDS. So with that said, we will most likely be recording Friday, since Game 3s will be Thursday. So this will be out. Our next episode will be out Saturday morning prior to Game 1 and that'll be the DS preview.
Correct.
We'll do a brief breakdown of what happened during the wild card, of course. So there'll be a little bit more depth of what's going on and how we'll kind of have an idea of what these wild card teams are doing and how they're mapping their way through. It's always interesting, the chess match of when you use pitchers and when this pitcher could go. Can he go 1-4? Will he pitch? I think that's super cool, and we'll see what happens in that regard.
I mean, October baseball is the best.
Well, if you're a Phillies fan, it's Red October or whatever the hell they love to say.
Ooh, wild pitch.
Soler oh boy, he almost got thrown out
on a wild pitch. Soler almost didn't make it to third.
But that's the AL wild card round.
Yeah.
It's still going to be fun. At least Game 1, studs.
Oh, I mean,
pitching.
it's exactly what you want in the first game.
Over under is probably 7, maybe even less.
Oh, I think less. I think both games are at best 2-1.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
No. I think so too. But I'm saying that's what I think. I'm trying to look it up now on via DraftKings Sportsbook. No, we are not a partner, but I'll hashtag DK partner all day long.
Yeah. Please sponsor us. Please sponsor us.
6.5.
Ooh.
For Tigers Astros.
Under.
And 7 for Royals Orioles. But they're at minus, so 6.5 for Houston Tigers is minus 118.
We're talking about 2 games. Wow, interesting. That makes me feel like we don't know what we're talking about. If
I mean, that's usually how low it goes. I mean, I've seen there used to be I forget who it was, but it was like Kershaw, Scherzer matchups that would get to 6.
Yeah. Is that deep enough?
All right, 1-0 Braves, bottom 2.
Let's go.
We're getting to Joey Lucchesi, whatever the hell his name is. Gio Urshela, Italian on Italian crime.
Look at that. Look, here's the deal. I am not comfortable because we had that first game multiple times. Anyways.
I hear you.
Okay, guys, we can't talk about the NL yet because it's not set. So we're going to take a break. And then when we come back, hopefully I'm going to be in better spirits and we're going to talk about the NL wild card round. So stick around. Can't wait to talk about that. Or I'll be really drunk and sad. So we'll find out.
We'll find out soon.
Hit it.
And we're back, baby. I am in a great mood. Thank God the Braves... Well, okay, I'll take it. Thank God the Mets decided not to play Game 2, and we won. The Braves are in the playoffs.
You're in. How does it feel? Because you were sour. Well, I at this point, I don't even remember the last time we did one of these.
Yeah.
It's been a while, it feels like.
It has not been that long.
You were sour. You were Debbie Downer. You're like, I'm done.
It was over. Yeah, I thought it was over.
So how's it feel?
It's a weird consolation prize. We have had so many injuries. The lineup is just not the same. Albie's coming back has been a real shot in the arm, which has been great to see. He's a big part of us almost winning and then us winning. So I think that Albie's being back in the lineup is super helpful. It's not changing my opinion for the most part. I just don't think we can go deep. We don't have a lineup that can support runs. And so if that's the case, then you're just not going to make it far. We have good pitching. We have a good bullpen, all that kind of stuff, but I just don't think we can put up enough numbers. You have to put up crooked numbers to win in the playoffs, and we're just not going to do it. And so I feel great.
Okay.
Because that's 7
today.
in a row. Yeah, I'm happy.
Today.
I'm happy today because you're right. Last time we talked, I was like, it's just not happening.
Yeah,
the fact that we caught the Mets is, actually,
whatever.
The fact that we caught the Diamondbacks. Sorry, Aaron. We're now in the playoffs.
You
so
technically
awesome.
caught the Mets. You are the 5 seed. Mets are the 6 seed because with that win, you took the season series.
Oh, you're right.
So
okay. Yeah.
But
so we caught both.
So oddly, quite frankly, it didn't matter, right? In order to get in, you were always going to be the 5 seed based on how.
Correct.
How today
if
started.
we were to get in, we would be the 5 seed.
No matter what, how today started,
No matter
you were
what.
going to be the 5 seed.
Yeah, because we would have been better than the Diamondbacks had we swept.
Now, this is just for sake of argument, and I think we talked about this a little bit, and I don't even remember where we stood. You're playing the Padres. That's your matchup.
Yeah, the Fathers.
Would you have rather them or the Brewers?
I would have rather the Brewers.
Okay.
We talked about it. I was like,
thought so.
Brewers we can do.
Okay.
The Padres are a very, very good baseball team.
They are.
But yeah, the Brewers are the team I would have preferred to play for sure.
Okay. We'll get into that.
Yeah, we can get into that. But I mean, our path is Padres, Dodgers, and then whoever wins on the other side.
It's not going to be an easy road. And it starts tomorrow in San Diego.
Tomorrow. They have to fly to the West Coast. Like, it's a turn.
You think they're there yet?
I think they're at the airport for sure.
No shit, they're at the airport. Do you think they're in San Diego?
Oh, no, they're not in San Diego yet. No. That's like a 4+ hour flight, man.
Time the game get over. Well, yeah.
They had to do the champagne thing. I mean, they said on air that the champagne bath or celebration was going to be short because it had to be. They're probably in the air now though.
Yeah, we're doing this at 11:45 p.m. on what the hell's today? Today's Monday.
Today is Monday. It is.
Well, right now is Monday, but today is Tuesday because this is when you're listening to it. Podcast world's tough.
Technically, it's the 30th, but if you're listening,
it's the 1st.
It's the 1st. Correct.
Yeah. All right. So Braves are in. They got the job done.
Yeah.
Not we. I mean, I called him greasy too, but you owe Grant Holmes an apology.
Okay, I mean, I let off this this podcast being very negative, but he pitched a good few innings. Had 4 innings, 7 strikeouts, no runs. I mean, he pitched well. The dude doesn't wash his hair, and that's fine. But I mean, he got the outs.
Your bullpen got it done. He left after 4, but he had guys on first and second. I don't think there were any outs. Your bullpen came in, got it done. Much to both of our surprise, Reynaldo Lopez came in, gave us an inning of relief. I don't know if he would, because I believe he took a little bit more of a lead after that.
Yeah.
To get to 3-0, so I think we pulled him, and I don't think we were listening like super on volume because we were still hashing some stuff out, but I wonder if that was a decision to be like, hey, we could take it to the end without him. I don't know if that was a conservation method.
It has to be. No, I think 100% it is. I don't think his arm, because he's been out for a long time, I don't think his arm strength is ready to start. I think they're hoping he'll be long reliever types.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't think he's taking the ball to start any game this series.
I don't think this series, no.
Bigger news.
Okay. So in bigger news, I guess I might take that back. I might walk that back a little. Chris Sale is not going to.
He's not taking the ball.
He's not taking the ball at all in the wild card series, which I don't know if that means they will put him. I guess they can't put him on like the 10-day.
No, they could just not put him on the roster.
I don't know how that works, but
I mean, we have him on this roster. Like he,
yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
To see.
Yeah.
Because the way it was worded from Snicker was like, we're not sure, or he's probably not available. But I guess if there's a chance, he will still be on the roster.
Yeah.
Let's see. He's not expected to pitch. So this is from Passan 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
Snicker told reporters he does not expect Chris Sale to pitch due to those back spasms.
Yep.
So again, if that's the case, he's probably not going to be on this particular roster. But I don't think that's the end of the I forget how that works. Like he could just be on the DS roster if we got there.
Okay. Yeah.
But,
so
because you can't really be wasting a roster spot in the playoffs. Like,
you shouldn't.
You need everybody.
Yeah, you really shouldn't. And so I forget what the rules are in the playoffs, like how they can do that if they have like temporary IR spots or whatever that looks like. But anyways, so Sale is not going to pitch, so that sucks. Fried threw on Friday, so he's on technically 4 days rest.
So he would throw Wednesday potentially.
I think it makes more sense that he throws
Friday,
Wednesday, but I think he's potentially throwing tomorrow.
As of right now, again, 11:49 on.
We have nobody
on Monday. MLB app has to be determined.
Yes, correct.
So we have no idea. I haven't seen anything either.
I mean, it makes sense that Fried pitches the second game, but I almost would think I would not be surprised if his name shows up as the number one because Cease is not pitching either. Cease is
correct.
King is pitching, which King is a very good pitcher.
Michael King is on the mound.
I'm not going to shit on this guy. He leads their team in ERA. He's not far behind Cease in strikeouts. This guy's not an easy win. So he's a good pitcher. So it makes sense that Cease plays too. So maybe Fried does actually wait. Maybe he doesn't actually pitch till then. So, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Cease threw last. He didn't throw Thursday or Friday. I'd be stunned if he threw on Saturday. I'm trying to find.
I don't think so.
It's a weird strategy, but I guess to your point, King has been very good this year. So maybe they don't see it as the big discrepancy that I do currently. Right. Yeah. So Cease through Wednesday. Yeah, that's typical. So I guess they're just going with King. They're going to give Cease the extra day, I suppose. And maybe it's normal rest for King, too. So he must have thrown the day before. And here we go. It's game on. Game one, they are at... So that's the late game. So we kind of went out of order.
It's like
just to talk about Braves.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock.
They are at 8:30 on ESPN in San Diego.
Mm-hmm. It's an early game for San Diego.
So we talked a lot of Braves or thus far. You've got names. Mm-hmm. They're not the names, right? You're missing Riley, you're missing Acuna.
Yep.
You still have Matt Olson. He is Matt Olson. He could turn it on at any time.
Yep.
You have Ozzy.
Ozzy's back. Ozuna's been playing amazing all year.
Marcell Ozuna's had a great season.
Yep.
Arcia's hit or miss. Pick your spot. Who else? Michael Harris is back.
Yeah.
Darno. I don't know what you're going to do with the DH. Oh, well, you don't. I'm sorry. I know what you're going to do with the DH, but I wonder who starts between Darno and Murphy. That's a weird
it depends
dynamic.
on the pitcher.
You have guys. Again, we talked much earlier about playoff experience.
Yep.
These guys have been there. Soler in particular.
Yep.
You got horses.
Always too.
You've got to you got to chip at a chair. Again, that's what postseason baseball is about.
Like Schnick said it a few times during. It doesn't matter how you got there. What matters is that you're there.
Correct.
Now let's enjoy it. Let's take advantage of it.
What did he like? A bunch of rejects or something?
Yeah. I forget how he put it, but essentially he's like we started all the MLB rejects. He was just talking about how much we've had to really dig to find players.
You're piecing stuff together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kelnick had to come up with a big at bat, and albeit in game one, but he had a single. Whit Merrifield stole a base there. Mm-hmm. Again, this is when he took the lead for the 19th time.
That White kid is fast as hell. They put him on the bases. He steals just like Acuna does. I mean, we're figuring it out for sure. We don't have pitching depth. So we had, again, Mr. Greasy pitch, and he's done that. He pitched last week against the Marlins, or maybe it was a week and a half ago. So he comes in, he pitches 4 innings, and he's done, right? It's our bullpen game, essentially. And so that's why I think Fried will probably start, is because it's supposed to be Sale. Morton pitched recently. It's not going to be Morton. Morton pitched.
No, he pitched Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. So it can't be Charlie. Schwammenblack.
Wait,
I said his name wrong. He pitched the first game.
Yeah,
it's not him. Has to be Fried.
He might not even pitch again in the series.
It's possible.
Right. Thursday.
And there's a chance that they go, okay, we're going to do another bullpen game, and they let Lopez pitch 4 innings, maybe.
That's what I mean. But I guess we'll see. That's going to be an interesting dynamic to see.
Yeah.
Again, it's the playoffs. We can't rule anybody out. But I can't say it looks promising, right? They're already on a bad... I think both them and the Mets are on a bad...
we have a bad hand for sure.
Right? Mind you, I guess the Braves lucked out. They didn't have to use Sale, but Sale isn't available to them anyway. Yeah. Holmes isn't... Right, Grant Holmes?
Mm-hmm.
That makes
Holmes, yep.
Jesus Christ, I almost forgot his name already.
That's all right.
Greasy Grant was... he probably wasn't going to be a huge guy for you in this series. Anyway, there's a chance he'd even make the roster.
Right.
Quite frankly.
Well, no, I think he was going to make the roster no matter what.
So now he might not.
Yeah. So it's tough. It's interesting because he pitched an inning in the first game, and because they thought Sale was going to pitch the second, and they're like, "Hey, you're going to take the ball now." So this Sale injury is just kind of the culmination of our season all year. It's somebody else big gets hurt, and it sucks. Wrong time for sure.
And and as you already said, you're running into a team in the Padres who seem ready, right? Everybody complains because they spent all this money and they just kind of hover around, and they're an easy team to hate because they have some outstanding personalities or some different personalities like Machado. A lot of people, for whatever reason, don't like Manny Machado.
They don't like Tatis
because he's nonchalant.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, they don't like Tatis because he's over the top. Flippant, over the top. But they've got a pretty deep squad too. Luis Arraez, what's he do? He gets on base.
Profar's played well.
Yeah, Jerickson Profar had a great season. Jackson Merrill. Argument for Rookie of the Year, but
should be
guys, Mr. Clutch comes up every time you need it. Cronenworth's had a good bounce back season.
Right.
They've got a good squad. They have, pitching depth. They kind of got healthy at the right time. Darvish came back. I don't know if or when he'll start, but you already said we're starting King game 1. You would assume Cease is game 2. Who knows what they do 3 because they still have Musgrove. They still have Darvish.
I think definitely what the Padres are playing for, we're going to figure out how to win game 1, and then Cease is going to wrap it up for us. I think that's their strategy. That makes sense. And then they got a couple days of, if they win Wednesday, right, but just I'm hypothetical here. They win in 2. Now you have Thursday, Friday, before you get to Saturday, like you got some time to regroup. Now, mind you, you know who could use those Tuesdays off is the Braves. Right? God forbid they win 2 games. It'd be like a whole different team, right? Those 2 extra days off. But and to continue on the Padres, the bullpen, solid. Tanner Scott that they picked up, Robert Suarez. There's probably other names, middle relievers that I'm not completely aware of that are going to be household names at some point here in the next week or so. I think you're running into a team who's ready to make that leap. Tatis is healthy. I mean, they've been playing the little brother role for a long time to the Dodgers for sure.
Yeah, and then they get
Diamondbacks,
and to win. They get to come see the Dodgers, and they get to do what they need to do. And that's not to say they're going to beat the Dodgers, but
right.
That's a series that they want to have. That's a series that they're prepared for. And in my opinion, much to your chagrin, the Braves are kind of like a speed bump on the way there. But in your defense, it's the postseason. Anything can happen. We watched the Diamondbacks waltz their way in, and nobody ever would have thought it. So you have some horses. You have a chance. I do think the Padres are primed and ready to go. I personally would like to see it happen. I probably know which way you're leaning here, but I am going to take the easy route out. I'm going to go Padres in 2. I think it's just a quick 1-2 games. They go get their rest, and they head up to L.A., and they're ready to try to take care of business. I don't know if they get it done in L.A., but I am very, very confident they get it done against the Braves.
Gotcha. Look, I understand that the Padres look awesome, and I understand that we have piecemealed our teams together. But I do think that the Braves can steal this series. And it's because it's a 3-game series. I'm hoping that Fried comes out game 1. Redemption story. It's the last time he's going to be a Brave. He pitched like dog crap last postseason. He's going to come in, pitch the game of his life, and we're going to steal game 1. We're not going to win game 2. We're going to basically give up on game 2, and we're just going to let the Padres dog walk us. Cease is going to strike out 12, whatever. And then we're going to take it back home, right? Because it's 2 away or 2 home, 1 away. How's that?
No, it's all at the home team.
It's all at the home team?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's...
the higher seed gets all of them.
Okay, gotcha. Well, anyways...
that's because they're 3 straight days.
Yeah.
So they don't do that
So
no
anyways, whatever you say, but we still take game 3. And I think we steal this, and it's just it's a homer pick. I understand, but I do think the Braves, going back to momentum, that they look really good both games. Now the bullpen gave the first game away.
What did I text you?
We are putting runs on the board.
I wasn't even with you yet. I was heading here.
Yes, correct.
And I said, oh God, Pierce Johnson.
Yeah, you said Pierce Johnson, and exactly like Bummer gave up run. Like we put in guys that we knew were going to give up runs because they didn't matter.
But to be fair, your entire bullpen like almost imploded.
No,
game one. Like Iglesias already pitched. Like he gave up runs. Like it quite frankly didn't matter.
It looked bad for sure, but the fact that the team is putting up runs, like that's what matters. Is that the hitters have confidence. I think we still game one. Obviously, if this was Sale, I would be beating my chest so hard, going, "This is ours. Yeah. This is ours."
Oh, it'd be a different. I'd have a different outlook.
But I think one of my next things to say is, no, that's not true. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. But anyways, I say 2-1 Braves.
Okay.
I was going to say whoever wins this series wins like the World Series, but the Braves are not going to go all the way. I do think the Padres are a very good team and if they get hot, they can make a deep run. I think the Braves are going to steal one series and that's it.
I just think they're going to be out of gas.
That's fair. And that's fair.
I'm talking from not a fan. Like you need to believe. Like you'd be a jerk to say the Padres are going to win this, right? Like you'd be a bad fan overall. You have to have some faith. It's the playoffs. But just speaking from, I think you're just out of gas. Demoralizing to just have guy after guy after guy get hurt. But just as much as that could demoralize, that can galvanize a team to just come together more than normal and make something crazy happen. Again, is it out of the question? No, it's the playoffs. Anything could happen.
Anything can happen.
But I feel I'm going pretty chalky in this first round.
That's fair.
I think it just, the way the matchups line up, it just feels that way. But guess what? Something crazy always happens, and there's no reason why it can't be your Braves.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with that. So fingers crossed, we'll see what happens.
So we head to the Midwest, right? Is that Milwaukee?
That's correct.
Right. I was going to say like the North Mid, but you get it. But anyway, Milwaukee. Mets are headed there. They're probably there by now, right?
Yeah, I would think they're way
flight,
closer. Yeah,
right?
I completely agree with that.
Weird series overall. All I've got, I think, is a first matchup of their number one right now, Freddie Peralta, versus Luis Severino. Severino's had a pretty solid bounce back year overall. I don't have like crazy insights. I mean, the Brewers did their job. They won the series. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we had them second, both of us.
Yeah.
Some weird ass account must have been doing a Twitter search for Brewers predictions and retweeted us. No idea who the person was.
Really?
Yeah, it had to be some Brewers fans like looking up predictions, like just to like we got you.
Gotcha,
but like
bitch.
we weren't like that egregiously wrong.
I don't feel like we were.
I forget who we picked though. I think the Cubs maybe.
We're back and forth. But I'll go look at it. Yeah.
But regardless, I wouldn't even say like it was that bad. Like,
I don't think so.
We had them over wins and stuff like that. It was just like we don't know who they have, and I almost still feel that way.
I think we both said Cubs. You may have said the Reds.
I'll try and find it.
Yeah,
here it is. Hilarious. In a second.
Okay.
No, it was actually a Cleveland. So sorry, wrong Central. It was
Cleveland retweet.
And the person that retweeted it, their Twitter name is Dashik Watson, and it's Deshaun Watson in
gross
dressed as a Sheik.
Oh, as a Sheik. That's okay. That's kind of funny.
Kind of funny.
Anyway, that's weird.
But sorry, I had my Centrals mixed up. That was about the Guardians. We already talked about them, so I missed our boat. We're back on the Brewers. Really, really, really weird press conference today. Don't know if you saw this. So Willy Adames is their shortstop. Very, very good in terms of Brewers shortstops and how he stacks up. Has had a few good statistical seasons for them. But the conversation today was, hey, I think they pulled him on Sunday. Midway through the game didn't really matter.
Yeah.
They pulled him. He got a standing ovation. Everybody, was super excited. But again, the presser after the game was hey, we need to relish this guy. Like, he's truly one of the great shortstops in Brewers history. And all the conversation was like, we're going to lose him in free agency. We can't afford him. And it was like a super weird conversation to be having, like on the cusp of a legitimate playoff run you could have. Like, your team performed pretty well. You were in contention for the 1 or 2 seed towards the end. You were within a couple games. So it just felt like a really weird conversation to be having in that like last press conference of the last game of the season. But the Brewers are a weird team. They always
have been.
And another lineup that's weird. Jackson Trio overperformed. The expectations.
No, I don't think he overperformed because there was high expectations
he's
about.
He's like 19 or 20. But he just turned 20.
Yeah, but they still like he's their guy. I don't feel like he because he didn't have a Jackson Merrill type of season. I mean, he was definitely consistent, but I don't think he overperformed. I think he's exactly what they want, and like the sky's the limit, and that's exciting.
I just think based on his age and prior experience, he had a pretty good season. He turned 20 this year.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He went 20-20. He hit 275, a 3.8 WAR via Baseball Reference.
Yeah.
Solid season. 791
that was a very
OPS.
good season, yeah.
Again, when you're comparing him to Jackson Merrill, Merrill had a better season. I'm not disputing that whatsoever. Right. But Chourio is up there. He's in the lineup. He's fighting. You want to talk about postseason experience? Rhys Hoskins is your first baseman.
There you go.
Like they've got guys to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so sure about the rest of the starting rotation.
Right.
Quite frankly, off the top of my head, again, I haven't been watching a ton of Milwaukee Brewers baseball.
Well, I mean, the Mets are trotting out Severino, who is maybe their fourth best pitcher. He's definitely not. I mean, he's not a terrible pitcher, but he's not anything to write home about. So I wonder.
Savale, Frankie Montas.
Oh boy,
Colin Rea. I mean the bullpen. I mean Devin Williams is a stud. We know that already.
Yep.
I can't speak to many of the other guys at this point. Let's see catcher is great. Williams Contreras, great player. Willie Adames, Rhys Hoskins, Chourio, Sal Frelick. Again, a team that can make something happen. I like them. I like them more so in this particular series against the Mets. I think they just can get it done. I don't trust the Mets big picture.
Correct.
Now their lineup, I do think the Mets are a little better. We're gonna jump on them in a second. Mm-hmm. To your point, they just don't have the horses in terms of rotation.
Yeah.
Like who are they coming with?
Manea. Maybe.
And Menea's had a very good season. He's
been their ace.
Quintana threw this weekend off the top of my head in terms of date. I don't know. He threw Saturday or Sunday.
Mm-hmm. So he probably won't be ready till Wednesday. I mean, these short series, some of these guys are going to have to pitch on 3 days rest, but it's going to be like a bullpen game where they throw 3 to 4 innings. I mean, look, the Mets definitely have the firepower, but I tell you what, when their bats go cold, they go cold. So
yeah, but they could get hot, man.
Oh, I don't disagree.
Francisco Alvarez, you've got Polar Bear Pete, Jose Iglesias has had a good year.
Yeah.
And God damn it! I mean, you probably hate him today. Francisco Lindor.
Oh yeah, he's the worst.
Is ready, right?
yeah.
I mean, MVP caliber season. Up there, top 5. He deserves.
I agree.
He'll get MVP votes.
Yeah, I agree.
He played like one today. Put the team on his back in a huge spot. Hits the game-winning or go-ahead home run.
Yeah,
he's ready for the big time. Brandon Nimmo, solid. And then they piece together the rest of it.
Exactly.
Right? Marte, Bader. Fucking Jesse Winker, I guess. JD Martinez. So again, they have names. How much stock you put into those names at this particular point is another story.
Yeah.
I think they could steal a game. Maybe. Mm-hmm. My initial pick or my formal pick is Brewers 2-1. And I have no insight as to what order that appears, but it's probably splits 1-1, like Brewers, Mets, Brewers. And a sweep would we call it a sweep, it's 2 games, but 2-0 would
it's technically a sweep.
2-0 would not surprise me at all in the slightest. I think quite frankly, and I'll get off my horse here in a second, I think this is the easiest pick of any series. Mm-hmm. I feel most confident in the not necessarily 2-1. That just Brewers beat the Mets, and that's it.
Yeah. So I I do not disagree with you. I actually don't think the Mets can win a game. And that, again, goes to pitching. I think you're right. I think it's definitely the easiest pick of the four. I think the Tigers can be super frisky. I think the Royals is probably going to be the most fun and the closest of the four. And again, of course, I hope the Braves play upset. But yeah, I say Brewers in 2, just because I just don't have any faith in the Mets and being consistent. So
I know it's crazy. I just pulled up DraftKings.
Yep.
DraftKings Sportsbook, #DK partner. We are not one, but we're going to be eventually.
Fingers crossed. Yep.
The Brewers are actually the lowest odds of any team to win there.
Really?
Of any higher seed. So I'll go through all of them because I didn't pull this up for the AL.
Yeah.
Astros -175 to Tigers +150.
Okay.
This is for the entire series, not pick year. Orioles -170 against the Royals +145.
Okay, yeah.
Padres -175 against the Braves +150.
Boo. Okay.
And the Brewers are only -135 to the Mets +115.
Huh.
And I like that the most.
Yeah, I do too. I'd take that for sure.
Okay.
Interesting.
So that's where I stand with it. I just feel that confident because I don't trust the Mets in this instance. They've showed me that they're a little bit different with their resolve in game 1 today.
Right.
It feels a little different, but at the same time, I think the Brewers are ready to show out a little bit. Maybe they make a little extra money from the playoffs and they can afford some people going forward. Who the hell knows?
Never.
That would be great. But that's where I'm at. I'll let you give your little breakdown here.
End all be all. If the Mets don't get it to Diaz, they're not going to win the game, right? And so I don't trust the pitching. And what we saw, and this is just as a Braves fan, we pelt that team when it comes to scoring runs, even when we shouldn't. We scored a lot of runs today, and probably could have scored more if we needed to, but it ended the way that it did. So I think that the Brewers are ready. They are a team that a lot of people have underestimated all year, and they are out to prove a point. If the Mets can get some runs early, then I think they have a shot to pull an upset, tomorrow. But I just don't see them winning the next 2 at all. But I still say Brewers 2-0. So go home, Grimmets.
And they are, for what it's worth, they're the 5:30 game. They're on ESPN.
The 5:30
Just to
okay.
recap, kind of far away from each one that I named. Tigers at Astros, game 1's at 2:30 on ABC. Royals at Orioles, game
1.
They're all game 1.
They're all game 1.
4 p.m.
Jeez.
4 p.m. on ESPN2. Sweet Lord. The Mets and Brewers, 5:30 on ESPN. These are all Eastern time, by the way.
Yep.
And Braves at Padres, 8:30 ESPN.
I'm excited. Playoff baseball.
We're here, baby.
We made
it. Braves are in. You got yourself a seat at the table. That's all you could ask for. We'll see what happens. Tomorrow's going to be tough. And you know what? I've thought about this since the get-go. Last year, you complained that you had too much rest, and now this year, you're going to complain that you don't get enough rest.
I'm getting the two extremes.
I will be on your side here. This whole thing was kind of bullshit. I don't know.
There's a lot of reporting out there.
I don't know how else it could have been avoided. They both had an off day last Monday.
Yeah.
So in preparation for this, they very well could have tried something.
It's just they bring it down to the wire too close, and it's. I've seen a few articles of people just really giving it to the MLB, and it's because here's the deal: neither team had a necessity to want to win. And like I text you and part-time producer Doug Irwin. I was like, hey, why don't we just both managers call the umpire and say, hey, we forfeit game 1 and they forfeit game 2 so we can both go to the playoffs. Peace out. And not even play the fucking games.
We can't allow that.
No, but that's what happened, and you knew either way. Like the team that won game 1 has zero motivation to win game 2.
Yeah, they're not trying.
Yeah,
Alonso
the
and
Mets
Nimmo
quit.
played, but I think I laughed at in the 9th inning. Like Nimmo, there was probably a ball he could have got closer. He's like, why is he gonna
there's no point.
Again, it doesn't matter. Get on the plane and get out of there.
As a Braves fan, I'm glad I'm in the playoffs, but it just felt I mean, the first game felt like a playoff game for sure, and I was nervous the second game because like, well, we have to win. But I felt halfway through that game, it's like the Mets don't care. Like we're gonna win this game because they don't care.
I wonder what the fix is. They'll probably overcorrect, but maybe it's just one extra day next year. So it's supposed to go Sunday. An off day Monday, off day Tuesday, and start on Wednesday. So if for some godforsaken reason something stupid like this happens again, now you have the day of travel.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this: we needed all 162 games somehow to make the playoffs.
It's happened,
but like they need to shorten the season.
Wow.
So that just 12 games, 150 games. Oh well,
they're not gonna.
I know they're not going to, but it gives them more space and time to make those changes.
That's a whole different.
This is I know Rendon loves the idea of playing less games, but I'm just saying 162. Yeah, we needed all of them, so maybe I'm wrong, but
there used to be 163.
That's
right.
True,
they used to have to play a whole nother game. Like there weren't these. They put these tiebreakers to avoid 163.
Yeah.
Right. So it used to just unless I don't remember all the stipulations.
I don't either. But I know what you mean. It's weird. Like they definitely have to learn from this because if both the Braves and the Mets get swept, like
there's gonna
dog walked, then both those teams need to be like, hey, this is your fault that we couldn't even be a part of it. So we'll see what happens.
Time will tell, but listen, we're not going to let that take away from our excitement.
No, absolutely not. I'm excited.
By the time you're listening to this, you'll have plenty of time to get this in. Then you'll have a full day of play. You got potentially three full days of playoff baseball.
Let's
go. Because on Wednesday, they're running back the same. They're not running back the same schedule Wednesday. Let me read that to you.
Oh, boy.
Game 2, same order, right? Detroit, Houston, KC, Baltimore, Mets, Brewers, and Braves, Padres.
Reading's hard.
2:30 ABC, it's TBD because they didn't update it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
2:30 ABC, 4:30 ESPN. So half hour different in KC, Baltimore. 7:30 on ESPN for Mets, Brewers as opposed to 5:30. Don't ask me why. And 8:30 on ESPN2 for Padres.
Oh, that's
Braves.
good. I thought you were going to tell me it was going to be even later.
So really, it's 4:30 and 7:30, and then another change for
Thursday.
Day 3, same order: 2:30, 4, 7 on ESPN, and 8:30 on ESPN2.
Okay.
Actually, I take that back. Flip Padres and Brewers. So 7 p.m.
So game 3 we have at
7 p.m. Eastern
7 p.m.
time.
Interesting.
4 p.m. West Coast time.
Pacific, yeah.
Whatever, man. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, that makes no sense.
Who knows?
There's no lot. But anyway, those are all if necessary.
Yeah.
So that's your playoff schedule.
I'm ready.
So with all of that said, in terms of playoff baseball, you will be hearing from us technically Saturday.
Yep.
Maybe Friday if everybody wrapped up.
Exactly.
We'll see how that works.
We'll see how that plays out.
But expect to hear from us after all of the series wrap up, before the next ones we begin. Depending on how these schedules line up, we might have to piecemeal it and do one league at a time. We'll see how that all works. But we'd be remiss if we do not talk about one major news story throughout the baseball world. So again, we're outside of the postseason picture right now. Andrew, would you like to deliver the news?
Yeah, so we were watching the game, and then also football came on, had some friends come over, eating pizza, all that fun stuff. And then Chris is like, oh my God, I think Pete Rose has passed. And so we're all searching, trying to find confirmation. And unfortunately, it is true. One of the greats, Pete Rose, has passed. He leaves a legacy that is undeniable in a lot of different ways. One of the purest hitters of all time, from what people say. I've seen videos, definitely a great swing, play with a tenacity. Unfortunately, because of how he treated the game and gambling, he got basically blacklisted. And so he's not allowed to be in the Hall of Fame, even though he has one of the greatest careers of all time from a stat perspective. And now, unfortunately, he doesn't get to see himself make it to the Hall of Fame as he's passed. I think he said 83.
83 years old.
So
Charlie Hustle, the guy, baseball personified, right? When you hear your grandfather
talk about hard-nosed baseball,
your parents, to your point, you talk about hard-nosed, back in my day, they're talking about Pete Rose.
That's Pete Rose, for sure.
Guy was a lunatic, blowing through catchers in All-Star game. He did not care. He loved baseball, with the passion, gave everything he had, into to the point of the bigger picture of why he was blacklisted or blackballed, whatever you want to call it. Overall, just it felt like that was just an overstayed topic. Did it happen? Yes. Was it as egregious as it was maybe said to be? I'm not sure. I guess I wasn't physically capable of comprehending everything at that particular time, but it's undeniable he's the best hitter to ever live, right? Just by 100%. Pure number of hits, a great overall player in terms of, what he brought to the game was a different, tenacity.
Yeah. So
world.
One of my favorite, because obviously I don't have memories from him playing, but there's an interview that started surfacing this year with him and Nolan Ryan talking about going up against each other, and it's amazing listening to them talk about each other as players. And Pete Rose was one of those guys that everyone respected as a player. Like, this guy was the best player I ever saw, and those are all professional guys who did this for their whole life, and they saw Pete and they're like, no, he's different. And so we lost a good one. Also too, Chris, I think you either retweeted or reposted. Go ahead.
I didn't love. I've given him an eyeball.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn this into like kind of not his passing, of course, but the response to this. So I'm gonna read it so I don't get it wrong. The National Baseball Hall of Fame in my opinion, had the audacity to write this. And I quote, "The Hall of Fame remembers Pete Rose, MLB's all-time hits and games played leader, who passed away on Monday. Charlie Hustle won 3 batting titles, earned 17 All-Star Game selections, and won 3 World Series championships." I don't love that at all.
No.
I think that's... I don't know the word. It falls flat.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're in 2024. You know how everybody feels about this particular feeling. And what sucks, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off, but what sucks is, he passed, and now everybody's going to have the wherewithal to be like, he's going to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And it's fucking bullshit. It's too late. If it's one day too late, if it's tomorrow, it's too late.
Yeah.
Right? It should have happened years ago, regardless of all this other nonsense that has taken place. Like, sure, some people could call him an asshole, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
You can't take away from what he did when he was inside those lines. And to me, it's just falls on deaf ears for the National Baseball Hall of Fame, who will not enshrine the man. Like, sure, his, his spikes and bat are probably in there.
They've enshrined him, but not in the official way. Yeah.
Because the National Baseball writers won't or didn't or whatever the hell. It's just. Well, it has no.
Yeah, here's the tragedy of it. We should be talking about Pete Rose and his career and the man that he was. We should not be talking about the Hall of Fame. And they basically did this thing and they're now a part of the conversation, and that shouldn't be a part of the conversation at all. That's the tragedy of all of this. You and I we want to recognize Pete Rose for being a great ball player, and we lost a great one. And we'll discuss after, some time, how fucked up it is that he's not a Hall of Famer, because I think everybody knows that. But I think what's most important is that, we lost.
Well, I am certain that come Hall of Fame selection, not ballot time, that this will all be coming up again.
And there will be a lot of anger around that, for sure. Yeah,
there's going to be a conversation. I don't believe now is the time to have it, but I did need to call out that National Baseball Hall of Fame tweet.
Yeah, we do not
thought it was in bad taste.
Very bad.
I think I don't even know that. I understand maybe trying to honor, but it's almost like just don't even say anything. Just let it go. But I don't want to be jacked up about that. Again, we're talking about the baseball player Pete Rose. an incredible career for what he did for the game of baseball. While he was playing. Rest in peace, 83 years old, Pete Rose. I have no more to say on the topic before I, we'll cut this. Before I,
no, I'm not.
Yeah, sure. Before I damper anything, surrounding his passing.
Right.
But again, rest in peace to Pete Rose. But we did have to mention this based on us taking the break to get
exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, it's sad way to end the show, but we're excited about playoff baseball, and we look forward to being back here in a few days and talking about the next round. So, in the meantime, my name is Andrew.
And I'm Chris,
and we're the Coach's Sons Podcast.